What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Jonathan.
Zelda.
Welcome back to North Lake Survivors. So how you been, old man?
Good, how have you been?
Good. You seen anything lately?
Yes. So, I guess after we came back from Vegas, the first movie...
Oh, we never talked about our vacations.
Yeah!
Okay, tell me your movie, and then I had a movie I want to talk about, then we can talk about the vacations.
Tell me a movie?
Yeah, the movie you were just talking about. You were like, when we got back to Vegas.
Yeah, when we got back to Vegas, I think the first movie we saw was... Oh.
Didn't leave a lasting impression.
No, I think it was Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Okay, well that happened while I was away, so it definitely would have been after you got back.
Yeah. That was really good.
That movie was brilliant, man. I loved all the cameos, all the jokes. I love that Channing Tatum finally got to play Gambit.
Yeah, when he showed up, I was like, who is he? There were a lot of scenes where I think the only one I realized was like Blade. But I know him, but I didn't watch because he was probably
to be fair, the only person I know who understood the Gambit thing besides me was Neo.
Yeah.
Everyone else was like, I don't understand why they had him playing Gambit. Like they knew who he was playing, but they didn't understand why. And I was like, well, there was a movie that didn't happen.
Yeah. And then I went back and I saw the cartoons. I was like, oh, he was Gambit.
Yeah.
Because he has a car.
I love the Jennifer Gardner joke where, where's Daredevil? Oh, he died. Oh, I'm so sorry. And then Jennifer Gardner. Because Ben Affleck played her version of Daredevil.
So they were married?
She's the mother of his children. Yeah, they're divorced.
I don't know because it's so confusing because Ben and
Well, he only dates people named Jennifer.
Oh, does he?
I don't know if he only dates, but Jennifer Lopez, then Jennifer Gardner, then Jennifer Lopez again.
Because I'm like, when did him and J-Lo get together?
Well, they were together a long time ago.
And
then they broke up. Then he got with Jennifer Gardner, and now him and J-Lo are married.
Okay.
So
they all hate him.
No, I mean from what I understand, they actually have a pretty good. They're co-parenting the kids. They don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good.
But I thought the joke was funny.
Yeah.
I loved that they had Johnny Storm, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm back.
See, I go so confused at that scene because I never saw him in the Fantastic. I guess I never watched.
You never watched the Fantastic Four movies?
So I was expecting him to say "Avengers Assemble," and then when he came and burst into flames, I was like, "What?"
Before he actually jumped down and started talking, I was like, "Who's Chris Hemsworth playing?" Because they were so clearly setting up Mad Max, even to the point where they were like, they're angry.
The cars came in. I was like, "That's a Mad Max scene." I thought, Hemsworth was gonna show up because it wasn't Mad. I wasn't crazy.
Well, he even referred to the cars as angry.
Yeah.
Instead of mad, angry. Okay,
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is he gonna show up? Is he gonna be in here? I was getting so excited.
Well, I mean, Chris Hemsworth was in the movie when he was cradling Deadpool's head in the whole movie. Why was Thor crying?
Oh yeah.
Which I loved.
But why was Thor crying?
Ryan Reynolds says he knows, but he's not telling.
So is that something that's going to come in the future?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I was thinking that was something in the past, but he doesn't know, so it's something that's going to show up in the future.
Possibly. I do love that John Favreau came back and Deadpool got rejected from the Avengers. I thought the movie was beautiful. It was so great.
I loved the humor. It was so funny. I loved the beginning.
The NSYNC dance.
I loved that. It brought us millennials back.
I don't even like NSYNC, and I was loving the song. I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful. And I love that they didn't ruin Logan. The movie. You haven't seen the movie.
I haven't seen the movie.
You have to watch the movie Logan. Okay. It's a really beautiful
Because I feel like maybe a lot of things I was kind of confused about because I didn't watch Logan.
Well, here's a list of things you need to watch to get this movie. Yeah, to really understand it. Before this came out, I had an inkling of who I thought was going to be in it, so I rewatched Daredevil and Elektra. I rewatched all 3 Blade movies. I rewatched Ghost Rider, but that didn't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
They did the thing with the tires, which was kind of Ghost Rider reminiscent, but they didn't do anything with Ghost Rider really. Yeah. And then I rewatched all the X-Men movies.
So out of the people who showed up,
the Fantastic Four movies.
I didn't know who Channing Tatum was, and I didn't know who the little girl was.
She's from Logan.
She's from Logan. Is she his daughter? Or is she like a Wolverine?
She's a clone.
She's a clone, okay.
She's his clone.
Okay.
Because
Because I was like, I've never seen her before.
No, she's a clone. In the comics, she also goes by Wolverine now.
Okay. So she's like an upcoming Wolverine.
But she's been around for a while.
Okay.
So she's firmly established. She's not a new character. She's very much been there. Everyone respects her.
Okay.
So, but she was in the Logan movie. She was a little girl. It was she did such a great job. So they brought her back, grown up now, and it was great, man. It was just great. I loved it. You could not have made a better popcorn fan nostalgic movie if you tried. That movie was great.
It was fantastic. And I liked the ending where they kind of were showing the behind the scenes. The kind of goodbye to the Fox movies. Yeah. I was like, that's cute.
Even the ones that didn't get referenced in it, like they had scenes from Daredevil, they had scenes from the shitty Fantastic Four remake. Like it was great, man. They had a whole bunch of stuff with Patrick Stewart in there and from the old X-Men movies, both versions of the X-Men movies. It was great. That movie was everything I wanted it to be, but was afraid it wasn't going to live up to. Yeah. And it lived up to it.
The audience was hyped for it too.
And I had to wait until Sunday to watch it. And everyone kept seeing it. My uncle and one of my cousins saw it at Comic-Con with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. And everyone, because Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman came out on stage, introduced the movie.
They came out on stage?
The movie played, and then after the movie, they brought out Wesley Snipes, Jennifer Gardner, Chris Evans.
How come you didn't go to that?
I couldn't. They won a lottery to get in. If you try to get into Hall H, Hall H doesn't cost. But to get into Hall H, you have to either win a lottery like they did, or you have to wait in a line that goes for miles and basically spend all day, and there's no guarantee you'll get in.
Oh man.
Because there's only so many seats. So you're spending all day waiting to maybe get in. And if you get in, it might be at a panel that's 3, 4, 5 panels before the one you want to see. So then you have to stay for all of those panels to try to get to the one you want to see. I don't think it's worth it. Especially when most of the good parts of the panels are aired afterwards on YouTube. But then I couldn't see it in San Diego either because the Stubbs card, unless you're paying more, you can't use it in California. It's one of the states that's excluded.
Really?
You can, but you have to pay more.
Because we were going to go watch it in Vegas.
I don't know if Nevada. I think Nevada you'd have been fine.
Okay.
California there's 3 tiers. So we're in Texas, so we're paying the cheapest tier. And then there's another tier that is like, I think ours is what, 20? So then there's like a 25 tier, and that's almost every state except for like 5, and California is one of the 5.
Yeah. So
California is the highest tier.
Yeah. Oh, before the Deadpool, we were gonna watch Twisters in Vegas, but that's what we watched before we.
I liked Twisters. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. It wasn't like the best movie ever, but it was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. The original, you can't.
You can't beat the original.
But it was really good because I like natural disaster movies.
I really thought her mother was gonna be what was her name? Helen Hunt. Was Helen Hunt from the first movie?
Oh yeah.
I don't understand why they didn't
bring her mother.
Yeah, the only thing they brought in from the first movie was Dorothy, which I don't understand why they didn't bring any of the characters back. Yeah, I mean, obviously Bill Paxton had died, but she's still alive.
Yeah, I don't understand either.
But it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. I like a good natural disaster movie.
So so dark. So I've been doom scrolling on Instagram a lot lately, and I kept seeing clips for this movie called "The Callboy I Met in Paris."
The Callboy I Met in Paris.
And the clips are so cheesy and what the fuck is this? That of course I had to track down the actual movie. Turns out it's not a movie. It's a mini series, but each part of the mini series is like 5 minutes, and you can't really watch it on your computer because it's vertical. It's for a film. It's for a phone. So, but it's an hour and 20 minutes. So I was like, you know what? I've seen enough parts of this movie. I just want to see the movie to see what it is. So I watched it. And it is, my friend calls every time we're on set and an actor does something that's kind of bad. He calls it Hallmark acting.
Mm-hmm.
This is that on steroids.
Oh, really?
It was the most, and I'm not trying to be mean or insulting, but it is the most like, what the hell am I watching? But I cannot look away.
It's like a train wreck.
Oh, yeah. But I couldn't stop watching. So the premise is this. The movie starts with this woman waking up in a bed.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, am I naked? Oh my God. Did I sleep with a cowboy? Like, they don't really ever show you what happened the night before. Like, they show you clips of the night before of them making out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't show you what happened the night before that led her to, I slept with a male prostitute and not I hooked up with a random guy.
Okay.
Because her mind doesn't go, I had sex with some dude I met at a bar. It goes, I slept with a callboy.
So it just goes straight to that.
I don't understand why she leapt to that conclusion.
Wow.
They never explain why. So she's getting dressed and he comes out of the shower and he's like, you're gonna leave without saying goodbye? And she goes, oh, I have to pay you. And he's like, what? And she pulls out $2,000. It was like, $2,000 should cover, right? And she holds it to him and he just looks at the money like, what?
What?
And so then she puts it on the table and goes, here you go. And then she's about to leave and then her stepsister walks in. And I'm like, okay, how did her stepsister know where she's at? How did she get here? And her stepsister takes a picture of them together and goes, oh, your fiance is gonna leave you for this. And she's like, oh, you mean that cheating, two-timing, small dick loser? I don't want to be with him. And I'm just like, I have so many questions about the logic of this movie. First of all, fine, you cheated on her. But how did your stepsister know where you were? And how did she get in the room? Hotel rooms lock the second you close the door.
Yeah, they do.
How did she get in?
It's so strange. Unless she was watching. I don't know.
I just want to know how this movie works. And so then the guy takes her phone and throws it on the floor and gives her the $2,000, goes, buy yourself a new phone. And she's like, I don't need your money, and throws it on the ground. And I'm just like, what is happening?
So he didn't take the money?
Well, so we'll get to the money. The money is insane to me. So then the sister leaves, and so then he walks her out to her car. Mm-hmm. And then she pulls out the $2,000 and goes, you should keep this. And it's like, he didn't take all his stuff from the room. If you wanted him to keep the money, why didn't you just leave the money in the room? Why did you take the money out of the room to give him again? That doesn't make any sense.
What?
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So then she leaves. So then we start to find things out. Because she's like, oh, so do you work this hotel a lot? And he's like, oh, no, this is one of many hotels that and then a car comes up. And so she stops and goes, well, I gotta go. And she leaves. And then he goes, oh. So he's not a callboy. He owns the hotel. Uh-huh. So then she goes, finds out that she is like not quite in charge, but the daughter of the guy who runs this giant real estate or architect company. And so and her dad's like, you have to marry Derek. That's her ex-fiance. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not married by your 25th birthday. Oh no, we'll get to that. Hold on, I'm jumping ahead. So her dad's just like, you have to apologize to Derek. And he's like, no, I'm not going to apologize to Derek. And so then she goes to this place where she's meeting the head architect who she's working with to try to build something. Turns out that guy is the head architect. He owns a giant architect firm, multinational. He's rich beyond rich.
He's rich.
So she goes there and is trying to meet for him, bumps into him and goes, oh, you work here too? And he's like, yeah, oh, no. So, yeah, I'm sorry. So when she's on the phone with her dad, he's like, if you don't get married by your 25th birthday, you won't be able to inherit your mother's company. So her architect company is the mother's company. The dad's running it, but she inherits it when she turns 25, if and only if she's married. Oh, and she's like, I'll never marry Derek. I'll marry anyone in the world but Derek. Very over the top.
So she just has to be married, but it doesn't have to be
no. So then she runs into this guy. Mm-hmm. His name is Jason Lake. So or Justin Lake or something. J Lake. Yeah. I can't remember what the J stands for. So he runs into him. She's like, you work here too? Do you work? Like, how many jobs do you work? He's just like, it's crazy seeing you. And she's like, don't work too hard. Don't overwork yourself. He's like, oh, well, normally I can handle it. But last night, you ran me ragged. How many rounds to go? She's like, stop. I'm just like, what the fuck? The way she did it, it was like, stop, not here. And then she starts to walk off and then stops and goes, you don't need all these jobs. Just come work for me. And she grabs his hand and he's like, what? And she just starts dragging him away. And he's like, work with you where? Oh, we're going to sit where? He's like, where are we going? To City Hall. You're going to be my husband. I'm going to pay you $10,000 a month to be my husband.
What?
And he's like, okay. Then we get a little bit more of his backstory.
Okay.
So, 6 years ago, he was backpacking through Europe, and he was in France, and his phone and wallet was stolen.
Okay.
And he was asking some random French guy for help, and the French dude just started yelling at him because he asked him, like, do you have any money so I can get back to my hotel room, yada yada. And the French dude was like, fuck off, just screaming at him.
Oh my god.
So then she comes and offers him help, gives him some money, is like, same thing happened to me, I know how it is. She pulls out a wad of cash and it's like, this will get you back to your hotel. Don't worry, you're going to be fine. And then she goes on her way. So for 6 years, this dude has been obsessing over a girl he met once for 5 minutes in France. So I just want you to think about this for a minute. He met her in France once for like 5 minutes. She gave him a bunch of money and set him on his way. He thought about her every day for 6 years, runs into her at a bar in his hotel, and then sleeps with her. And then that day he's married to her.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
Wow.
So then she tells her dad, I'm married to him. And it's just like, you married that call boy? And I'm like, why does everybody think he's a call boy?
Call boy? Oh my god.
What exactly happened that led them down this path? That he's a call boy.
Maybe they're thinking call boy is just someone who's like randomly you hook up with.
No, not a fuck boy, because she offered him cash. They think he's a gigolo.
Okay, because she offered him cash. Okay, so that's why he got the name Callboy.
So the dad is just furious. Like, you have to marry Derek. The board is like, you're costing us money. She's like, I can turn this company around in 6 months or I'll step down. And then he's like, I can help you with that. How are you going to help me with that? You're just a call boy.
Oh my god.
So then he tells his assistant and they set something up. So then his company does an exclusive deal with her, so all her stocks start coming up because she now just landed this massive account.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh my god, you came through for me. I'm going to buy you a house. Now this is where things get important.
House?
She takes him to his own company. So he quickly texts this guy, pretend I don't work there. No one knows me. But everyone keeps going, oh hey! And then he's like, and they're like, everyone's all offended because suddenly he's like, I don't know any of these people. Because he doesn't want his wife to know that he's Mr. Lake. Despite the fact that they're married and she saw that his name is Lake. She thinks he's just another Justin Lake.
Okay.
Not the brightest tool in the shed. So then they're buying, she's like, I want to buy this house, yada yada. And then her sister and her ex-boyfriend, because they're sleeping together.
Yeah.
Her ex-fiance and her stepsister are sleeping together. They come in and the stepsister's like, I just want to buy whatever house she was looking at. That's the house I want to buy. And so then the guy's assistant's in there who's pretending he's in charge, looks at the boss and goes, and so they go, okay, and they take the car, go into the other room. Because apparently the way you buy a house in this movie is on a debit card.
A debit card?
You just swipe the debit card and pay for the house. Because, you don't have to go to escrow or anything like that. You just one swipe with the debit card. So then they come back and like, oh, our money processing machine is down, so we can't sell you a house today. Well, can you take a check? No, all of our systems are down. We can't process your payment. You'll have to come back tomorrow. So they storm out. And I'm just like, this is not how buying a house works.
That's weird. Very,
So
very weird.
so then the one girl is like, I guess we gotta go too. Oh no, our systems just came back online. And we're having a 50% off sale.
What?
So the house is half price. And she's like, oh, only 15 million for a house? I can buy two.
Oh my God.
We'll just take the one. And I'm like, okay, first of all, you're marrying this guy and you're paying him 10 grand a month. And you're buying him a $30 million home.
What?
I've never seen a $30 million home.
I've never seen a $30 million home.
Most homes are like, what, 3 to 6?
Well, no, there is a $1 billion home, right?
Oh, there are, but they're not common.
Yeah.
Like, she's buying a $30 million home for a guy she just met.
That's true love for you.
A $30 million home.
When you love someone, love has no price.
30 million sounds like a bit steep. But my point is just this. She thought he was living in an RV with 3 other people, so she was like, I can't have this.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, get him an apartment. Or if you want to get him a house, get him a normal house.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you dropping 30 million? I mean, she only dropped 15, but she was going there to spend 30 million.
Well, I guess because she's in love with him.
She just met him. It's a business transaction. So that she could get her company.
So was she not in love with him?
I mean, at this point, it seems like he's more in love with her than she is with him. She just likes having sex with him.
So that's why she's buying him a $30 million house?
I guess.
So she can continue to have sex with him?
But she's paying him 10 grand a month already.
That's weird.
So then we meet her best friend, who's this dude who's clearly in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got this little weird love triangle going. Even though there's already the other love triangle with this Derek dude and her sister.
Yeah.
And our main dude is crazy jealous of him.
Okay.
Turns out, though, that everything he suspected was right. This dude was trying to bang her the whole time.
Okay.
But, so now we have this weird love triangle going on. That's kind of like a B plot of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the stepmother who's the worst stepmother ever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just a bitch. Her dad's always angry. And the stepsister's trying to oust her from the board.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then we find out that her mother's necklace is missing. And the stepmother, I stole it at an auction, so you're going to have to go buy it back. And now she's devastated. And then they drop us with this storyline that, hey, her mother who committed suicide, yeah, nobody really believes the suicide. Maybe the stepmother or stepsister had the mother murdered. So now there's a murder storyline going.
Murder going on.
All the while, old boy's still trying to I don't want her to know the truth about me because she thinks I'm a call boy, and for some reason I'm writing this story out.
Oh my gosh.
So then they go to the auction,
Mm-hmm.
and the sister with the other boyfriend are like, we're gonna buy the necklace so she can't have it, because fuck her, I want her to cry. And I'm just like, what is wrong with these people? And so they start bidding. And once it gets to it starts at $1 million, then it goes to 1.1 million, then 2 million. And then she looks at her, Mr. Lake, and goes, Ted, that's the best friend,
Yeah.
only let me 3 million for this. Now I want to stop the movie here.
Okay.
We're at this point 40 minutes into the movie.
Wow. I just feel like it's all over the place.
Around the 20-minute mark, I don't know if you recall, we just talked about it. She tried to buy him a $30 million house.
Yeah.
Only spent 15 of that million.
Mm-hmm.
And then said, I could buy another house. Why did she have to borrow $3 million from Ted? And why can't she just use that $15 million to keep bidding?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Especially when Derek then goes, 3 million, or she goes 3 million, he goes 10 million. He jumps it up from 3 million to 10 million because these people understand how money works. So then Mr. Lake goes 15 million.
Wow.
And then he wins it.
Yeah.
And she's freaking out, can we cancel the bid? Oh, it's already paid for. And I'm like, okay, now I have issues. First of all, 15 million. Why does everything in this movie cost 15 million? The house costs 15 million. This necklace costs, well, the house was on sale for 50% off.
So 15.
But
so 15 is like the
number they keep going to. But according to the story logic, she has, I would argue, this woman, if she has any intelligence to run her own company, is not spending all of her disposable income on her gigolo's house. So she had supposedly 10, 15, 20 minutes before this, 30 million disposable income. Not even like, this is all the money I have in the world, but like throwaway fuck you money. Right? That's what they established like 20 minutes before. Now she's borrowing 3 million. What happened to the other 15 million? And if that 30 million was all the money she had in the world, why was she trying to spend that on her gigolo's house?
Oh my gosh.
Does any of this make sense to you? I'll also point out that at this point in the movie, a little before this in the movie, her dad kicks her out of the house. So I want to point out, she was going to buy her gigolo a $30 million home. She lives with her parents. Why didn't she ever buy herself a house?
This whole movie's so confusing.
Does any of this make sense?
It doesn't make any sense. Where did you watch this movie?
I watched it on Dailymotion. It's the only place I could find the full thing.
Who told you about this movie?
I told you, I was scrolling through Instagram and I kept seeing ads for it.
Yeah.
And the ads would play like 2-3 minutes of the movie.
And it looked interesting.
It looked like, what the fuck is this? This can't be a real movie.
It looked like it was bad, but you just wanted to see
I just wanted to see if this was a real movie.
Yeah.
And then when I found it was a real movie, I just wanted to watch to be like, is the whole movie really like this? And it was. We're at the halfway point. Because now she finds out he's rich. She's like, you're Mr. Lakewood. But here's the other thing that bothers me. The auctioneer guy's like, it's already been paid for. He paid for it before he knew how much it was going to cost him to win the bid? Why did he even bid then? What was the point of it? He knew he was going to drop 15 million on the thing. And what if the guy was like 20 million? I don't understand the logic.
I don't either.
It's very confusing to me.
This whole movie is confusing.
So then she's like, you lied to me, rah, rah, rah. And then he kisses her and she's like, okay, but I want all my money back.
But I want all my money back.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then it turns out that the $15 million house she bought was the house he already owns.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so now they're like all happy-go-lucky. No, this is when so and then there's more conflict with Ted, and he's like, I don't want you talking to her. Her sister roofies her. Roofies her, invites her down to talk about something, puts drugs in her drink, and then she passes out. And then the roommate calls Ted. Ted comes down there and helps her back to her room, and then she films it and sends it to the news, and the news plays the clip.
What the hell?
And the husband's like yelling at Ted, like, why are you ruining my wife's image? Well, I was helping her. You really think she cheated on you? No, I know you were set up. But you need to stay away from her because you're causing conflict.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
like, what the fuck?
Jeez.
So then, he takes her out to, she wakes up, and then the board meeting is, she's losing the board. He's like, I can help you with this. No. And then it turns out that they've lost the fire safety thing. So then he goes and he gets his people to fix the problem for her. But she called Ted, and Ted said he'll fix the problem. So she's like, oh, thank you, Ted. And the husband comes in and goes, Ted didn't do it. I did it. How would you do it? Okay. Oh yeah, because that happened before. That happened before she found out who he really was. I forgot that part. I was like, what the fuck? So now she's like, you need to stay away from Ted. And so the board is trying to oust her because of her affair with Ted, even though it came out that she's like, I didn't do anything, and he's denouncing it. No, we need to oust you. And then she goes, well, can you really? And then the cop walks in, and it turns out that her vice president of the company was a serial sexual abuser. Like, apparently he just sexually assaulted lots of young women that worked for her. And so she used that information to get him arrested in the middle of a board meeting so that she could hold on to her seat.
Oh my god.
And then the other board members who were also ousting her goes, "Oh, you got him arrested? Okay, you can stay." Telling you, this movie is wild.
That sounds like it's all over the place.
This movie's wild. This movie is just wild. So then, oh God, what happened after that? Oh, so then her aunt comes to visit, and so he pretends to be poor because her aunt hates people with money because of how much of an asshole her dad is. But then her aunt figures out that he's rich, and she's like, "I just love you guys together, yeah." And then she gets kidnapped.
By who?
And then the board meeting, she calls the sister out and was like, "Oh, I also, while I caught him, sexually abusing all these women, I caught you embezzling. What? And if you don't get me evidence that your mother murdered my mother, I'll have you arrested." What? And so the stepsister's like, "Oh no, my mother did it. I had nothing to do with it. I'll get you all the evidence you need that my mother's a murderer."
She's gonna throw her mother under the bus like that?
To save herself.
Dang, that's fucked up.
But she doesn't. She tells the mother, "Mom, she knows you murdered her mother. What are we gonna do?" And the mother's like, "Well, we just gotta take care of her. We gotta go on the offense."
Take care of her.
So they kidnap her. So then Mr. Lake's like, "Oh no, where's my wife?" Oh, because his assistant catches the kidnapping. And he's like, "Call my private security phone. Call the police." "No, give me the address of where they're at." So he goes there and he fights off the mother, and the mother shoots him. He's like, "Oh!" And then he falls.
Dramatic?
Oh, so dramatic.
Oh my god, that's the best.
And then so she's in the hospital with him as he's recovering, and she's like, the security runs in and arrests the mom right afterwards. So she's arrested immediately afterwards, like, "No, I didn't mean to shoot him. Get off of me, let me go."
Oh my god.
So she's in the hospital with him, and she's just like, oh, Justin or Jason or JJ, whatever your name is. She knew his name, I just can't remember. And then his mother comes in. "You shouldn't be anywhere with him. You're just a gold digger." "No, I'm not. I don't want you near him." And so then she leaves, and she leaves, and then the mother goes down to the bar where she's at, and she's like, "I'll write you a check. How much do you need for you to leave my son alone?" "Oh, I'm not leaving him for any amount of money. I love him."
Oh my god.
"Well, then I'll give you something your money can't buy. Your aunt, who we just met in the last thing." She didn't say that part, but it was like, we just spent all this time with your aunt. "Your aunt is sick, and the only doctor who can help her doesn't take new clients, but he's a friend of mine. I can get her in if you stay away from my son."
Oh my gosh. Does he stay away from her?
So then she's like, "I'll never stay away from your son." So then she's walking back to the hospital. And as she's walking back to the hospital, her best friend calls her. "Yes. Oh my God, as I was going to your house to get the paperwork, your aunt was passed out. She fainted. I only know this because I was going there to get the paperwork."
Oh, that's the only reason.
And then it jumps forward 6 months. And she's in France painting a picture with her. Backtrack. In the boardroom meeting. She was also, it also comes out that the sister won this contest. Oh, this is a different boardroom meeting. So before the boardroom meeting, the sister won a contest for the best painter, and she was like second runner up.
Okay.
Turns out that the painting she did, she stole from a art gallery contest in Paris from 6 years ago, and it was Mr. Lake's painting.
Wow.
So she coincidentally stole this dude's painting. And so she was like, she outed her. And that's why she wanted to take the company from her.
Oh.
I forgot. That was an important part.
Okay.
So now we're back up to like 6 months later in Paris, and she's painting the mom.
Yeah.
At the same spot that she ran into him 6 years ago and gave him the money. And so she gets a phone call and is like, "Mr. Lake doesn't want to sign the divorce papers. He still loves you. I can't be with him. His mother saved my aunt." And she hangs up the phone. And the aunt's like, "Can't you find a way to make it work?" "No." "Well, what if he finds you?" "He'll never find us. His mother set us up with a whole new life." And I'm like, okay, hold on. This whole movie has been about you getting your mother's company. Now you gave that company up? That was the whole point. Your whole character arc this movie was to get the company.
But now she's had a change of heart.
To save her aunt.
Mm-hmm.
And then she drops her paintbrush and he picks it up. And she's like, oh, how did you find us here? And he's like, well, this is where we met all those years ago. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? When did we meet? And he goes, 6.5 years ago, you gave an American man who had just had his wallet and phone stolen some money to get a cab ride home. That was you? But what about your mother? Oh, I took these past 6 months, but I finally convinced her that we could be together. And then the movie just ends.
Like that?
That's the ending of the movie.
Oh my gosh.
It was...
Did it have good reviews?
I didn't read any reviews.
Wow.
That was the movie. I watched the whole thing.
Wow.
Oh.
Was it a long movie?
It was an hour and 22 minutes.
Okay, so not too long.
It didn't feel like an hour and 22 minutes. It went really fast.
Wow.
Because it was like, what the fuck am I watching? Have you ever seen, you've never seen The Room, right?
The Room?
The Room. The worst movie ever made, but it's so bad that everybody loves it.
It's the worst movie for me?
Oh, but it's so great.
What's it about?
This guy, it's a love story.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude is with this woman. I don't want to explain too much, but you really have to watch The Room.
Wait.
I have it on DVD.
Okay.
I'll bring it over one day. We can watch it.
Is it a horror movie?
No,
it's
supposed to be a serious drama about a guy whose girlfriend is cheating on him.
Okay.
That's basically, we want to boil it down to something. The guy's girlfriend is cheating on him with his best friend.
Does he kidnap her? In the room?
It gets wild.
Okay. Don't tell me because I want to watch it.
It gets wild. But
Do you think it's the worst movie ever made?
I love it though.
Okay, so it's not the worst movie.
No, it's bad. It's supposed to be a serious drama, and it is a pure comedy.
Okay.
How could she do this to me? Oh, hi, Mark. What the fuck? But this movie struck me as someone going, let's make The Room.
Yeah.
Let's try to do what The Room did accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do on purpose what someone else did by accident. It does not work.
Yeah, that's true.
This movie was appalling, but I kind of loved it. I recommend everyone should watch it. Because, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's funny watching movies that are just kind of like out there.
And they still never, out there movies are the best, but they still never explain why they thought he was a cowboy. Like, if I was at a hotel, like a hotel bar.
It's just because she gave him money and then he made.
She gave him money because her first thought when she woke up. Did I sleep with a cowboy?
She didn't remember, so that's where it probably came from, because she didn't remember.
If I hooked up, it's not really in my personality at all, but if I were to have a random hookup at a bar with somebody, my first thought would not be like, is she a hooker? That would not be my first thought.
Yeah, it's not your first thought. It's not anyone's first thought. But was this movie set in like the 1900s?
No, they had cell phones.
Okay, because I feel like call people were probably big back then.
Oh yeah, because prostitution doesn't exist now.
It exists now, but I feel like back then it was more popular.
I'm pretty sure it's still popular.
I don't know. I feel like back then people didn't really go to bars and hook up. It was more like they went to go buy prostitutes. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
What are you talking about?
Like in the 70s, didn't they like...
Well, first of all, the 90s and 70s are very different times. Second of all,
like when they were high on shrooms, they would go out.
It'd be more like late 60s, early 70s,
60s,
yeah.
When they were on drugs, isn't that where they were like, oh,
I don't think they were picking up prostitutes. It was free love. Everyone was sleeping with everybody.
The brothels, what period is that?
That's all of human history.
The one was
they literally call
big.
I don't know, but they call prostitution the world's oldest career. So I mean, like,
we don't have brothels now, do we?
Yeah, we do.
But you don't see them.
Because they're illegal.
Yeah, but back then they were pretty much popular before they were legal, right?
I think in the United States, unless you're like in Vegas, or not like outside city limits, I think there's the only place where they're allowed. They're not really allowed anywhere. Like unless you go to like Amsterdam, I guess.
Yeah, I guess Amsterdam is the only place where it's legal, right?
But it doesn't mean they don't exist.
I mean, they exist. It's just not widely known.
Widely known.
Yeah.
It's a weird movie though.
Yeah. I want to watch it.
You gotta watch it. It's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds like it's. It sounds like it's funny.
Oh, it's so funny. And I'm just like, I don't understand the logic. I want to know what happened to their other 15 million. I want to know why you would spend all of your worldly possessions to buy your gigolo a house when you don't own your own house.
Yeah.
Like, does any of this make sense?
No.
Why her dad is always so angry at her. How her fiance and stepsister started hooking up. Oh, in the whole movie, the ex-fiance is like, if you beg me to take you back, I will. But you have to beg.
You have to beg.
And I'm just like, oh my God. My God.
That's interesting.
There's a part where when she gets the contract to do the deal with Lakewood, Mr. Lakewood, her ex-fiance is also there trying to get the deal with Lakewood. And so he's in the waiting room. And he's like acting like he knows Mr. Lakewood. And the real Lakewood's like, you know Mr. Lakewood? Oh yeah, we're old friends. And he's like, really? And so then they go in and they're working on the contract. And then Mr. Lakewood's like, I have to use the restroom. And then he goes into the lobby, sits down. Are you still waiting on Mr. Lakewood? Oh, no. We already met. And we worked out a great deal. But he went to go get food. And he didn't invite you? I'm not hungry. And his stomach starts growling real loud. And he's just like,
sure you're not hungry?
You know, he's just like, all right, you have fun waiting. And I'm just like, yes.
Dang.
This movie's all petty. All petty. The whole movie is just petty.
I like movies like that where it's like, it's kind of serious, but then it's always also like out there, like.
Yeah. If I didn't know better, I would think it was someone making fun of rom-coms. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But I think they were trying to be serious. I don't think they were trying to be funny.
Yeah.
But they were indirectly funny.
Like there's this scene in Cuckoo. You haven't seen that yet.
No.
Yeah. I won't. That it's like serious, and then all of a sudden, like it's like one of the guys bursts out laughing. But you gotta watch it.
I'll have to check it out.
It's so creepy. I felt like I was gonna get nightmares, cause you know how like M. Night Shyamalan, that movie.
Oh, have you seen Trap?
Yes.
Trap was great.
Trap.
So what were you talking about?
Because it's M. Night Shyamalan. The movie before that.
His daughter's movie.
The Shadows. That was creepy.
The one where they're in the house in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
That was his daughter's movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. I forgot her daughter's name was. But she's in Trap. I didn't know that until I saw. I was like,
she was the artist, right, or no?
She was the singer.
The singer, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny because M. Night was also in the movie. He said, "Oh, I'm the uncle." Remember?
Yeah. Oh, I know who M. Night. He's in all his movies.
I've never seen him before.
He's in every one of his movies.
I've never seen him before, and I was like surprised. I was like, "Oh, he's Indian."
He's you.
I didn't know he was Indian.
He's the modern day Alfred Hitchcock. He's in all of his movies.
I did not even know that. Was he in the other one with the shadows? The cabin in the middle of the woods.
I don't remember.
No, that was his daughter's movie.
But that was his daughter's movie. So even if he wasn't, it's not really.
Okay, that was his daughter's movie. Because that one was so creepy.
It was. That movie was really great.
I was like, the Trapped was good. It just like it left you thinking that there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah, I love Trapped. I thought it was so great. The way they did Sociopath, it just so well, and him trying to maintain his family, and him so cutthroat.
Yeah.
It was everything I was hoping it would be, but I was like, I don't know how you maintain this premise for a full movie, and they killed it. I love the black dude at the end going, "What? It's him!
Yeah.
It's that guy!" Man, I'm not talking to anybody anymore.
That was hilarious. He's like, man, I'm not talking to anybody anymore. I helped him.
I was dying. I was like, no.
Oh my god, that was hilarious.
I love the mom who kept going like, we gotta get the daughters back up, and then whenever the daughter's on stage, her daughter's just yelling at her like, why are you yelling? She's like, you little bitch.
Oh,
God damn.
Yeah, the nemesis.
Yeah.
She was so jealous, and the mom she's like yelling at her mom. She's like, what? Why is she up there?
Well, didn't she throw a water bottle at her or something? Like, or she threw the popcorn at her? She threw something.
The girl?
The girl at her mom. No. Because remember they showed in the audience the nemesis and the mother reacted.
Yeah.
And like they started fighting.
They were fighting and it was so funny.
I think she threw a drink at it.
I think she threw something at her. It was funny. And
I was dying.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
That was a great movie. I love that. I don't know, I'm yawning. I love that M. Night is still doing his own things. Whatever he wants to do, he does. And his movies are usually pretty good. Like Old was great. Did you see Old?
I saw Old, yeah. That one was pretty interesting.
I love that movie.
Yeah. His movies are just so out there.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like, oh, that's so cool. It's like, and like the artwork, I guess the creepiness of it. Like,
yeah, he definitely.
Signs was the first movie. He did Signs, right? Yeah.
I think he did Signs.
Where I was like, I couldn't sleep after seeing The Alien. I was like, oh, that was the first movie.
I actually think Signs and The Villager, or The Village,
Villages, yeah.
those are the only two of his movies I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Signs.
You haven't seen Signs?
I haven't seen Signs.
Oh
You've seen something that I have not.
You have to see Signs.
I will. I'll watch it.
That was the first movie where I was like, I cannot sleep.
I think this is the first. You're saying something I haven't seen.
Signs is so good.
And then The Sixth Sense is brilliant.
Oh yeah, Sixth
Unbreakable, Split. Glass, I thought was a little forced.
Was Glass after Split?
Glass was the third one in that trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was trying to tie everything together.
Yeah. Because that was after he got locked up, right?
Yeah.
And
Unbreakable and Split, I thought were brilliant.
I don't think I saw Unbreakable. That's before Split?
It's the first one. But it was way before. It's the Bruce Willis movie.
Because I saw it was on Netflix, Split and Glass, so I didn't see Unbreakable.
Oh, Unbreakable's brilliant. It's the Bruce Willis movie.
Okay.
God, you gotta watch Unbreakable. I love Unbreakable. Alright, so tell me about Vegas. What did you do in Vegas?
It was fun. So we went to the Sphere. It's kind of like the Omni.
Okay.
It's like a big sphere, so it's like a movie theater.
Is that the one that they have all the projections on?
Yeah. And that was really cool.
When you were there, though, wasn't it when everything got shut down?
Yes.
So it was like an error message or whatever?
That morning, I guess it got shut down, but afterwards they got fixed.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it was like for a split second.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was asleep, and then I heard all that. What was it? Some hacking.
No, it wasn't even a hacking
thing. It was a...
This company that does computer security pushed out an update, and the update was corrupted, and it forced everything to shut down.
Yeah.
It messed up flights everywhere.
Yeah, when I woke up, I saw like all these people were like, "Oh, the planes are all landed. Like no one's flying anywhere."
Yeah, because they couldn't figure out all the working things.
And that was the day after we got there, so luckily we flew out the day before.
And luckily you got home after it was already fixed.
Mm-hmm. So nothing affected us, luckily. But yeah, Vegas was fun. We went to the Sphere, and we watched this movie. It was called Postcard from Earth. So usually it pretty much just takes you all around Earth. Okay. And you can feel it too, like the natural disasters that we saw. They actually like blew wind at you.
Oh, that's what I was talking about last one. The four, Nino's Hot Wing thing is like the 4D theaters.
Yeah.
Where if it's windy, it blows wind. If it's raining, they have mist. If the seat shakes, the seat shakes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was so cool. It felt like you were on a ride.
I do love those. Those are fun.
It was an amazing experience. And then...
You went to a show too, right?
Oh yeah, I went to the magic show, David Copperfield. That one was amazing.
I've always wanted to see him. That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. Because he had people from the audience. It was, what was the show? The lottery number. He had us guess like a lottery number for him. It was like he had a box that had a lottery number, and then people in the audience, he would pick on people in the audience, and they would give him certain numbers. And then if they guessed right? Yeah, and then eventually, they came out on stage and they unlocked the box, and the numbers that they said were actually true. Oh, so it's crazy things like that you can't explain, and Well, I mean, I think there's an explanation. Yeah, there's an explanation, but you just it just keeps you wondering It does. Yeah. I mean, there's the douchebaggy explanation that I can give you of. Yeah, those audience members are plants. I feel like they're plants. Yeah, for a party, it was man, they have to be plants.
I mean, because...
But it's also like he throws a ball into the audience and they catch it. So how are these people like just catching it?
That's right. And what happens if somebody else
catches it?
Yeah, because he could throw it right to them, but if someone in front of them is like, oh!
But there is like someone who caught it and he was like, give it to the girl, give it to the girl. So that was one part.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, someone else actually did catch it and he was like, oh, give it to the girl. So.
Well, see.
So that part I was kind of like, I don't know, was he just trying to be nice to the girl or is it because it's part of his plan?
Does he know the girl?
Yeah. On that part, I was like,
The way you would find out is you would go to 2 shows back to back and see it's the same people getting called up.
Yeah, true. See, but it was a great show. And then, he was in the very beginning. When he shows up, you think that he's in like this box because they show you an empty box.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he's going to show up in the box. But he doesn't just show up in the box. He shows up in the box with a whole ass motorcycle. And you're just like, how does that get in there?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and then he made like a whole UFO show up in the middle of the audience. It was dark. He turned the lights off, so I'm like, okay, he could have like, it's easy for us to not see it, but you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
And you weren't feeling it because it was like it was hovering over us. So it was crazy.
Well, I mean, if I were to start dissecting things, I would assume the box has different openings and different sides.
Yeah.
So what you probably saw was a smaller box that nothing's in that's made to look bigger.
Yeah.
And then did he turn the box?
I think he did.
So then when he turns it around, he probably switches the sides. He probably turns it a couple times, but stops it on the other side. And the motorcycle was already in there.
Probably.
The UFO was probably behind the curtains, and it's probably on wires and probably meets in the middle. So when the lights are down, they wheel it out slow. I'm not trying to dissect all this. I'm just saying this is probably how
there's an
it is.
explanation, but it's just so cool when you're seeing it in person, and it's like, dang, that's awesome.
In the moment, it's like, oh, yeah.
It's just, that was so cool.
I'm just trying to think, like, if I were to do it, how would I do it? And that's probably how I would do it. Because you can have wires going out like that.
But if I were to go back to Vegas again, I would definitely go to David Copperfield's show again.
Really? It was good? You recommend it?
Yeah, it was that good. It made you feel like a kid again.
Oh, that's I mean, at this point in my life, that's all I'm looking for. What gives me that joy of youth?
Yes, it just was so amazing.
Oh, that sounds nice.
But yeah. But besides that, it was hot as hell, so don't go enjoy it. 110 degrees. It was fun.
I drove through the desert, but by the time I got to California, I was chilling.
Because you were in the ocean.
I was a block away from the ocean. It was beautiful. Every morning, every evening, I would go walk the ocean.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Obviously, went to Comic-Con Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, I drove up to LA, had dinner with my cousin and our friend Rayvon. Friday night, I went to a Chris Hardwick show, comedy show. That was funny as hell. Great trip. It was just so much fun. Spent a bunch of money.
Yeah, that's what you do on vacation.
Yeah, spend money. But it was great. And I love the long drive. On the way back, I saw Herbie the Love Bug at a random gas station. Have you ever seen those movies?
I've never seen it, but I've seen the bug.
Yeah.
I've never seen the movies.
There's a bunch of them. But it's just like a living car. Every movie seems to have a different actor in it. But it's funny, corny movies from like the 60s and 70s. I think Lindsay Lohan had one in like the late 90s, early 2000s. I think that was the last one.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it was a fun trip. It's one of my favorite parts of the year is just going to California and chilling for a week with no responsibility, just fun.
Yeah.
Vacations are important.
They should be more than once a year.
I want to go 3 times a year on vacation. That's the goal.
Yes. They just make me so happy.
They do. I need more vacations.
Same.
All right. Well, I'm Jonathan.
Zelda.
Give us legends and...
Give us more vacation.
Yes.